nets of solids. All right, so they give us these three solids down below, A, B, C, and they want us to say which net belongs to that solid. So a net is like if I could cut the solid and flatten it out, what would it look like? And this is definitely difficult for some students. So I'm going to show you. I do have some of these kind of manipulatives here. So I have this one, and this is that first shape. So they have it on the side here. Now, my manipulative comes with this little piece in here. So I can pull this piece out here, and I have kind of the inside here. And I can take this one, and I can unfold it so I can see it's a cylinder. It's got two circles on the top and the bottom. And then if I were to cut this right here, then I could unfold it, and whoop, I have a rectangle. So I'm hoping you can see that whole thing in the picture there. But this is true of any cylinder. So if they give you a cylinder, you can see that I have two circles, top and bottom, and I can peel those up, and then I can cut a slit, and I have a rectangle. So it doesn't matter what shape the cylinder is, if it's a skinny one or a tall one, or whatever it is. Like a tuna can would be skinny, a soda can's a bit taller. Some glasses, like my water glasses, isn't a full cylinder, but it's a little taller, but it still has a circle, and then if I could cut down the side here and peel this glass apart, it would also be a rectangular shape. It wouldn't be perfect because it's not a tube going straight down. That one tapers a little, but I'm getting a little too specific on that one. So this is just what a net looks like. Okay, so let's look at the next one. Let's see. I don't know if I have a cube. I don't have a full rectangle. Oh, nope, I do. Okay, so I have this one here. So it's not perfect like the one on there, but it's kind of the same idea. It's rectangular. So the one they're showing is a little skinnier. This one's just a little taller, but it's the same idea. So if I pull my net piece out here, I have two sides, so I can fold these out. And you see I have the two sides, and these are squares by chance. That one is a rectangle, but there's two squares on the sides. And then if I could cut, and on this one, the cut is actually back here. So if I pull this apart, then I end up with this shape here. So I end up with all my rectangles showing. So on a rectangular prism or cube, because you can do that same thing on like a cube like this. So cube just means that all the sides are the same. You're going to see 6 either squares or rectangles, and they're just going to be laid out flat like that. So each time you have a rectangular prism, that's what it's going to look like for its net. It's going to be unfolded just like this. Okay, so let's do our last one, and I do believe I have a triangular prism on here. Okay, so we have where'd I put it? So here's my triangular prism, just like this. And if I take my net out, and they're actually kind of just splitting it. So they're cutting a slit in all the sides straight down. So I can fold all these sides flat like this. Now if I show you, it looks like a star. And in this case, this was a square pyramid because it has a square base. So the bottom, when I put it back into a square, the bottom's a square. Now in the diagram they gave us, it's a triangular pyramid because the bottom's a triangle. So square has 4 sides, so this has 4 triangles, 1, 2, 3, 4. If it has a triangular base, like this was a triangle instead of a square, well, triangle has 3 sides. So that changes it up, and that means that you'd only have 3 triangles. So that's why this one looks a little different than my net, because I don't have a triangular. Oh, I do. I was fibbing to you. So here's one that looks just like they have. I missed it. It was in the front of my box here. So it has a triangular base. So that means it's a triangular pyramid. If I pull this one out, then I flatten out all my pieces here, and I have a triangle in the middle because that was my base, and here are all my sides. So this one looks a lot more like what they just did on theirs. So it's all just about visualizing what would it look like if I could flatten this guy out. Okay, so that's all we're going to do. So let's go ahead and go to the next page and actually start this. Okay, so let's look at A, and I'm going to use my nets here so that you can actually visualize it. All right, so A, they give us a cube like this. And if I take my net out of my cube, then I know I can open up the top here, and I have a square. I can open up the bottom here, and I have another square. And then if I cut this slit, which is already cut in here, and I can open this up, boop, 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 and look at that. I have all of my squares. And this, because it's a cube, they're all squares. But I have all 6 sides laid flat. So I can see that that's number 4 down here, and it belongs to A, so I'm going to click A in number 4. All right, so the next one is what we call a cone, and you can think of an ice cream cone if that helps you remember it. So we have this nice cone. Should fit in here. Okay, so we have this cone shape here, just like they have. So if I take my net out, and what they did was they cut around the bottom, so I can pull the bottom off. So the bottom is a circle, like this. So we can see that that's a circle on the bottom. Now if I cut this slit right here, so I can unfold this, I have this kind of funky shape here. It's got a round base, but it's not fully a half a circle. It's kind of cut off a little bit. So this is what a net for a cone looks like. All right, and I can see number 1 looks just like that, and that belongs to B. So I'm going to click on B. All right, and we have one more here. So we have, that actually looks like our, I don't think I have one that looks just like that, do I? Ooh, I do. Let's see, can I fit this one back in here? So I have this one here. So here's my tent looking shape. So I have a triangle and a triangle. We actually call this one a triangular prism because we're looking at we would stand it back up and I have a triangle and a triangle. So we look at the 2 sides that are flat. So if I laid it down like this, there isn't another one that's flat on top that's rectangular. So that's why the bases are actually the triangles, even though they're sideways in the diagram there. So if I pull out the net here, then I can open up my sides and I have triangles on my sides. And then again, I'm going to cut a little slit so that I can unfold the rest of it. So I have 3 rectangles and 2 triangles. And I can see number 2 matches that. And we're going to click C. So next. And oh, I forgot to answer number 3. Number 3 doesn't match any of them, so I'm going to click none. Check. And it is nice. Alex will give you that little warning. Hey, you forgot to check one. All right, one more of these. Okay, so that last one, let's see, is this one here. So it is a pyramid, and specifically it has a square or rectangle base on the bottom. So that matches this guy here. So I have my pyramid. If I take out my net here, so we're going to cut down all the sides, and we're going to unfold. Boop, 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 boop. If I unfold it, I have my rectangle in the middle. In case this case it's a square, but square, rectangle, same difference. And then I have 4 triangles. Because my base has 4 sides, I need 4 triangles to fold up on each side. So it just depends on the base for this one. But I can see the number 2 matches this pretty closely. So we're going to click A for number 2. All right, my second one, I have another pyramid, but this pyramid has a triangular bottom. So we call it a triangular pyramid. So here's my triangular pyramid. I'm going to take this one out. So again, I'm going to cut down all the sides, and I'm going to fold this open. Boom, boom. And then we can see here's my triangular base. And then I have 4 triangular sides that were folded down. So if I have a triangular base with only 3 sides, I only have 3 triangle sides. Yeah, I'm saying that right. 3 triangular sides and 1 triangular base. The last one was a square. It has 4 sides, which is why we had 4 triangles. So number 4 looks pretty darn close to this. It's upside down like that, but that looks like number 4. So I'm going to go B for number 4. All right, my last one looks like this guy, but it's skinnier. I don't have a skinny one like they have. So my rectangular prism is just a little taller than theirs. Theirs is a little skinny, but it's still going to look very similar in the net. So I'm going to take my net out here, and we're going to look at the sides. So first, I know I can fold out the sides here like this. So I have a square and square. Now they have a rectangle and rectangle because these are skinnier for them. So these aren't squares for them, but it's still very similar to what they have. And then I'm also going to cut this open so I can unfold this down here. Now we don't have one that specifically matches this, but we have one that's close. So instead of completely unfolding it on one side, what they did was they left one of their squares up here, and then they only have 2 down here instead of all 3. So they just unfolded it slightly different than I did. But there's still 6 squares here. I can see all 6 sides. And if we look at number 3, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares there. So that tells me it's a box or a prism with a rectangular or square base. So I know number 3 belongs to C. Number 1 doesn't belong to anything. And number 1, I know we did this in the original one, but number 1 would actually be a cylinder. So if I take this out, it has a circle, and then if I cut that line down and I open it up, there we go. There's my cylinder. So I can curl this back. So I'm hoping this helps you visualize it. Just seeing all the nets and them actually being manipulated. But we would click none on this one because we don't have a cylinder up here at all. So let's check. And we finished another one. Yay.